So I know that most of our production team have been praying that raindrops stay away today, but I was delighted to see these two paintings of droplets of water, so thank you very much for bringing them. So can you tell me how you came by the paintings?
My brother-in-law is French, and his first cousin was married to Kim, the artist. So we met them when we were first married back in 1974, and my sister said, you really want to see his paintings, they're pretty special. I think we probably had no money at the time, but we bought two because we loved them.
Kim Changiel is Korean originally and was from unified Korea as it was at the time. In the north was where he was born. Sadly, he had to flee Korea during the communist regime taking hold. He actually served in the military during the Korean War, went to New York, and then eventually settled in Paris, which is where he began painting his raindrops. Now, there's a little bit of water damage to this canvas, and actually, interestingly, it was through a wet canvas in his studio that he discovered that that's what he was drawn to painting, and from 1970 onwards, just simply painting droplets of water. I believe that that's also not uncommon for the school of Korean artists that he came from. A lot of them went in for this kind of very repetitious, obsessive kind of mark making, and it's seen as being a kind of result of the trauma of the war that they experienced, that this was a therapy, this was something that they used to get out of themselves, to erase traumatic memories. So as we can see, the works are both signed and dated, we think 74 in both cases, which is just a couple of years after he discovered the raindrop. So already by this stage, he was, a complete virtuoso at creating this amazing three-dimensional effect. He typically worked in oils, often on these quite Hessian-like canvases, and other surfaces as well, including wood and, as is the case here, sand, which he's glued to the surface, which creates this sort of really sharp relief of the oil paints sitting against the sand. Kim Tschang-yeul passed away a bit earlier this year at the age of 91. He had Parkinson's and was having to hold his hand steady by the end to paint these drops that he never stopped painting. He's a very, very well-regarded artist in Korea. He's considered one of their preeminent artists, and his career has thrived in France and America as well. So do you think you remember how much you paid at the time for them?
We've talked about it, and I can't imagine we paid more than about £150 each at the time.
This is exactly the kind of period that gets people particularly excited about his work. And I can say that individually, possibly the piece with the sand being worth a bit more, but they're probably worth at auction around £80,000 to £120,000 each in the current market. Upwards of that potentially, I think, for the sand piece.
Wow.
Yes.
You actually thought you were going to say 2,000.
Nope, a bit more than that. Well, I'm so delighted to see them, and it's been really special having this conversation with you.
Thank you very much.
I love them, and that's why we have them. And the value doesn't actually change anything. The only problem is that we have 4 children, and I'm not sure we can cut them in half.